how did the Torah and the prophets speak to voting in a 21st century American democracy?
Well, like the good Reverend said, we're all in this together. I've spent a lot of my religious environmental career saying amen to Reverend Dr. Durley, and I do so today, and amen to Imam Elter. So as with these other beautiful perspectives, we all hold our traditions dearly, while we also celebrate how every era adds sanctity and perspective, right? Classical sources matter deeply, but so do the living, evolving interpretation we give them. So a commonality that's important to start with, the Holy Quran or the New Testament or the Talmud, and we're only Abrahamic, but also the Vedas and the Dharma and the ancestor stories, none of them are fully democratic in the modern sense, but in many ways they are proto-democratic, starting with the notion that we are all holy because we are reflections of what our tradition calls the tselem, the image of the Holy One. And so while our traditions are much older, the Constitution in 1789 or in 1865, the 13th Amendment, early 1900s suffrage, the 1960s Voting Rights Act, all these were advances of holiness. And we hold our traditions a little differently in light of these secular yet sacred steps. We need to acknowledge that the common ground of America and of modernity, while we may take issue with pieces of it, is also something to be celebrated. And in our own traditions, all religions celebrate freedom because we believe in the inherent dignity of each human being created as we are by God in that image. But our freedom is not do whatever the heck you want for yourself, you get ahead and don't worry about anyone else. It's freedom with purpose, liberty to be part of charting our collective destiny, autonomy to choose how to bring our best values into the public square, an agency to organize and donate and canvass and vote. Things not to take for granted like freedom of speech and assembly and faith and conscience, freedom to seek redress of grievances. And how do we do that? We vote and we organize as people of faith, motivated by our faith, working with others across differences of faith toward a more perfect union in which all are enfranchised. I wanted to spend most of the time on my answer just lifting up the common. In Jewish tradition, 3 very short texts, there's many more in the sermon resources. In the Talmud, almost 2,000 years ago, Rabbi Yitzchak taught a ruler is not to be appointed unless the community is first consulted. If that's not proto-democratic from antiquity, I don't know what is. 1,000 years ago, Rashbam, 900 years ago in Europe, a commentator, if in your opinion the majority are about to commit an error in judgment, do not remain silent because they are the majority. State your view. This applies even if you know beforehand that they will not accept your viewpoint. You still have that obligation. And finally, the Jewish tradition says, if something matters enough, it's no longer just a good idea. It's mandated. Like charity. You can give even more, but a certain amount of generosity is actually obligatory, not just voluntary. We call it tzedakah, not just charity, but righteousness and justice. Same for voting and for involvement in the democratic enterprise within a free society. It's not just a good idea. It's, religiously speaking, the law. Voting and defending democracy is, in Jewish parlance, a mitzvah, a sacred obligation that is in turn also an awesome opportunity. I pray that we can all articulate in our own faith language how this is, in fact, a holy imperative for all of us.